Good morning, traders. This is Brad Matheny. Today is the 17th of June. Yep, it's very early in the morning here, about 4:42 in the morning, my time in California. Got to get up if you're going to catch the markets early in the morning. And I want you guys to remember that we're moving into a very early stage Q2 earnings. So there's been a lot of talk recently about equal weighted versus standard weighted SPY. So take a look at this data here. This is the equal weighted SPY. I will add the regular SPY, and you can see here the performance difference on this gold line versus, especially recently here, versus the uh, regular equal weighted SPY. Now, I will tell you that we've gone through a period of really kind of a resurgence, and my research suggests that valuation trending is now increasing. Now, what does that mean to me? And what does my research tell me? My research is basically what I call ground up, which is really from below ground up. I have my custom indexes. If you know what I do, my custom indexes are specialized modeling tools for understanding how the market's moving, whether or not we've been in a consolidation phase or whether we're in a trending phase, whether we're bullish, whether we're bearish, what to expect. And every week I try to tell my subscribers basically what comes, what to expect over the next 2 weeks to 2 months plus. And every week I take a look at the data from basically the root level all the way down to the core fundamentals of what's actually taking place on the charts, on my custom indexes. Then I come back up to the ground level, which is the core price mechanics. Then I move up into sector analysis, and then from there, I move into long term and intermediate term trending to try to tell people what to expect. My estimate is that the SPY is going to move up to 600 plus within the next, call it 16, 18 months, meaning into 2025 and beyond. In the meantime, though, I'm expecting us to run into a little consolidation in the end of July, middle of August, and potentially a bit of a downtrend heading into the election. That's really about a 60-40 chance right now, in my opinion. So we'll see how it works out. But recently, recently, we've moved into a consolidation period. So this is going to be kind of a marker here. And what I'm going to do is this is a weekly chart, and I'm going to highlight this area here because I believe we're going to move into a consolidation phase for about 2 or 3 more weeks. So in about this area, this is a weekly chart, remember. So we're not looking for massive consolidation. We're looking for rotation in this range, then moving up into pre Q2 earnings, and then moving higher. And I believe we're going to see the SPY. And let me go to regular scale. That's not going to work. Percent. Then we're going to see this move quite a bit higher. So understand that we are looking at kind of a ranged base trading, attempting to probably stay above this recent support level right here over the next 2 weeks. And I think that's going to be very critical to the market holding up for the next move higher. If we do get below the support level, which would essentially be this level back over here, and again, we could use, in fact, I'll do that here in a minute, switch to the SPY and show you. We've got, again, using simple techniques. And again, I look for price rejection. So understand we have rejection up here and we have rejection down here. So I'm going to come from here to here, and I'm going to show you that critical support for the markets is really right here. Okay, this is the level that I would use as my make or break scenario for trending. If we get below this level, on the RSP, we're going to be looking at potential downward trending down into the 618 area, or potentially down into this area, the lows down here, which could become very, very dangerous for the markets. I don't believe that's going to happen until somewhere out here near the end of August. And I think it's going to happen more so up in this area, moving down into pre-election scenario down here before we really start to move back up again. So we're really in a kind of a sideways melt up phase. I believe the consolidation over the next 2 weeks is going to be healthy for the markets. I believe that we're going to see a big rally on Q2 earnings, possibly setting the SPY up to 555, 565 or higher. And it's just going to be a matter of time before we break the 580, 590, and possibly 600 levels. Maybe before the end of this year. We'll see. So now I'll get rid of the SPY, delete, and let's come back over here to the SPY. And looks like I've done a lot of drawing on this. So this was my comments from last week, highlighting what I believe is going to happen. 2 weeks of sideways consolidation within the flag, US dollar demand strengthening, gold moving sideways for 2 weeks, setting up a base. Valuation moves higher, meaning that we're starting to see traders look at certain sectors of the stock market as undervalued and setting up a real opportunity for moving this to the front, a real opportunity to put money to work in these undervalued sectors. So now pay attention. These undervalued sectors, as we may see money move away from some of the high flying sectors, which is large cap and healthcare and defense spending, and gold and silver, a NASDAQ, SPY, we may see money moving into ignored and undervalued sectors. That's going to be a whole host of relatively strong companies that just are not performing. They haven't been the high flyers over the last 15, 17, 18 plus months. So you're going to see, potentially things like Ford and other things pop up. Now on my website for my members, I have a whole list of symbols that are within this undervalued sector and generating very clear triggers right now. But for you guys, like I said on TradingView, just be aware that we're going to see some sideways trending, and I think we're going to see the undervalued stocks really perform over the next 16 months or so, headed into 2025, maybe into early 2026. Global markets seem trapped, waiting for growth. U.S. economy, dollar and economy dominance continues to strengthen. Okay, so we got that out of the way. And now we'll come in here and take a look at what's really taking place on this chart. So remember, this is a weekly chart. I'll scale it back down. And what we're looking at here, guys, is a couple of weeks of sideways trading. Notice the blue line right here. I'll try to get to it. That line. Couple of weeks. I'll go back to daily. Maybe it'll help you guys out. Couple of weeks of sideways trading, followed by a melt upward. So here's what I expect sideways trading, coming down, filling the gap that we had last week right over here, and then exploding to the upside after possibly June 20, let's call it 26, 27, 28, making a big move to the upside and staying in this flagging formation. So understand, I'll minimize this. And now understand that where we're at with this, we have this big flag that's moving right up in this area. And then we have this existing peak pattern up here, this line. And I believe if you take a look at this level, this red line and this green line right here, you should be able to see a flag setup from this rejection point all the way back to this rejection point. You can see how we're moving in this flag formation, tightening up. I think that we're going to stay within this channel. I think we're going to roll in this area for 5, 6, 7, 10 days. maybe 2 weeks total, and then start a real solid melt up trend into the 560, 570, maybe up into the 580 area on the SPY. And then, like I said, we're going to roll through this new purple flag, this to this over here, rolling up in this flag before we peak out over here in August or late August or early September, possibly rolling down. Now, I've highlighted a couple of areas for support. So this is a very key area. I'll make this dark green. And this is a very key area. Why are they critical? Because right now, if my top is correct up in this area, these act as 618 support and 382 to 50 support. Obviously, if my top is incorrect and we move down into this area, 580 as a top, well, the 382 to 50 area moves down. This moves down. See if I can grab it to about here. And the 618 area moves down to about here. Now, remember, we would now be at this estimate, we would be looking at this as the topping area, not that upper area way up here. So again, if we top at 580, 585, then we've got to hold above 525 on a potential pullback before the election. If we top up here at 600, 605, then we've got to look at about 540, 545 as a general support area before the election. And I do believe we're going to roll into very strong upward trending after the election. So remember, we've got our election right here, vertical line, November roughly 6th. And so we have our election right here. And I think we're going to roll into very strong trending prior to the election and moving higher after the election, which again, look at this low, look at where we're at. And here, let me come in here and highlight this. I'll make this a blue color so you can see it. And now remember, come back here to weekly. What this is going to do, if we get this big pullback, is we're going to set up a new flagging setup. Depending on how this high sets up and where we're at, we're going to be looking at potentially a new flag setup, moving from, say, this area up through this area. So maybe into here. And then, of course, we come back here. And if we have our high over here, we couldn't use this up to our, although we could. So hypothetically, we could use this as long as it moves into a proper flag. But we would more than likely want to use something like this or this as a standout high and come to this area, up to this area, and create some sort of a flag, possibly like this. And that still puts us at an apex right up here at around 608, 610. Beautiful little setup. Let me copy this. And what I love about this, ladies and gentlemen, is the alignment. Okay, so if we got the pullback here and we came down to any of these support areas that I'm projecting, we would still end up right in this area. I'm going to draw a little differently. Right in this area here. And again, that puts us pretty much right at 608, 610, my original projected area, which is right here. So again, ladies and gentlemen, it looks very solid for the SPY to do exactly as I am projecting. I believe this is a very solid estimate for what the SPY will do. The big question for me is, how deep do we go? We could end up right here in the 560 area, 550 area, or we could end up in a deeper pullback down here, 530, 540 area. I don't believe that's going to happen until sometime back over here, late August. Again, I'll move this a little bit. maybe sometime into late August. So right in this area, or mid-September. And we could get this nice little rally carrying on through late August as Q2 earnings roll up into this 606 area. And then remember, that's going to be a very interesting area for us because that could move us into that same extended flagging formation, which is where as price moves in the mechanics of price, this would create a massive, what's called ultimate high level back over here, which if we move through the election and kind of flag out into Q1, Q2, which may or may not happen, we could see this move into a sideways flagging formation that ultimately comes in here, tries to move like this, and then tries to break out. So if this flag sets up here or up here, again, what I would do is I would be looking to just move my flag setting here and basically say we have this flag, and here I'll draw it separately. I know it's kind of complicated, but I want you to pay attention because all of this is just simple mechanics. It really is just simple mechanics of price. So we come here, we come up here, here's our flag. And of course, we come down here, down to this area, come down through our low, and there's our flag setting up pretty much right here. So we have either this flag here off of this low that sets up, or we have a higher flag that sets up around 648. So long and short of it, as we play this out over the next couple of weeks, I want you guys to be aware that, we're moving into a sideways consolidation. Let me come back in here, here. What you need to be aware of, this is a daily chart, is that we are going to move into sideways consolidation. We're likely going to fill this gap. We're likely going to see from where we closed on Friday about a 2%, maybe 2.5% downside move, filling this area, finding this area here as support, and then rolling back up into this flag. This is what's called a washout low before it starts to break higher. And it looks like we may be set up for that, or we may be set up for just mild consolidation before we explode to the upside into Q2 earnings. Okay, guys, follow my research, like what I do, share it with your friends. I want you guys to pay attention because this is pretty much your map for the next 30 plus days. Okay, guys, talk to you later.